They called her Mama Dunia, Mother of the World. She had 35 children. Yes, 35. From the same man, the only one who ever stayed and left. At dawn, the courtyard became war. Diapers, pots, dust, screams. Always someone hungry. Always someone bleeding. She didn't wake up. She rose to battle. And still the world asked, why did you have so many? The better question was, how do you survive them? There was never enough of anything. Food, beds, time, love. She cooked for an army every morning. Salt and smoke became perfume. Older ones fought over shoes. The younger ones cried for space. Her body ached. Her mind blurred. But her hands never stopped. She didn't know birthdays anymore. Just faces and needs. Some children called her mother. Others called her stranger. Favoritism was a myth. Survival wasn't. And every night, she wondered who she forgot. The village talked. Always talked. That's not motherhood. It's madness, they whispered. The pastor offered prayers. The nurse offered pity. She didn't want either. She wanted silence. But silence never lived in a house of 35 voices. Your womb is a blessing, they said. But some blessings feel like prisons with open doors. She smiled, nodded, then walked home to chaos. He was 17 and tired of being second parent. I didn't ask to raise them, he shouted. The others watched, silent. Some in fear, some in agreement. She didn't argue. She just stared at the cracked wall. He loved her, but he resented her more. She made choices. He paid for them. And no amount of rice or love could undo that weight. The house had many voices, but none louder than the broken ones. At night, the house was quiet, almost holy. She counted coins like confessions. One mistake meant someone didn't eat. School, fees, soap, rice, medicine, all impossible dreams. The man who fathered them, gone years ago. No calls, no help. She wrote his name once, then never again. People said it was her fault. Maybe it was, but she never asked for pity, only peace. And peace had no price she could afford. Sisters became rivals. Fists replaced hugs. There wasn't enough love to go around, so they fought for it. One said the other was Mom's favorite. The other said, no one's her favorite. She doesn't see us. Their screams echoed across tin roofs and torn fences. The neighbors watched like it was a play. But to them, it was survival. Because when love runs dry, even family becomes the enemy. The baby burned with fever for 2 days. She had no transport, no help, just desperation. So she walked 4 miles, in heat that made the air shimmer. Each step was a prayer she didn't know how to finish. At the clinic, they asked why she waited so long. She smiled softly. Which child should I have left behind? The nurse said nothing, just took the baby. Being a mother was never the hard part. Choosing was. They were late, again, dirty again, hungry, again. The teacher sighed. The classmates laughed. Are you one of the 35? They sneered. The boy looked down. The girl stared back in silence. Shame didn't come from poverty. It came from pity. They were tired of being numbers. At home, they were mouths to feed. At school, a joke. And nowhere did they feel like children. She didn't come to pray. She came to breathe. The baby slept. Finally, the only one not asking for more. She stared at the cross and whispered, was this punishment? No answer came. Only creaking wood and flickering candles. She remembered being a girl once, before the first child, before the first cry. Now, she wasn't a woman. She was a factory. She loved them, but some days, she didn't know how. And tonight, that truth hurt more than the silence. It started like any other day. Noise, heat, God, hunger dort day. Until she turned around and one was missing. Not a shoe, not a spoon, a child. She ran through the market, screaming his name. Faces blurred. No one stopped her. No one helped. Her voice cracked, not from fear, but guilt. She had always feared losing control, but she never imagined losing a child entirely. She said she was going to church. She wasn't. Her mother didn't ask anymore, just hoped she came back alive. She wanted freedom and fast money. The house offered none. The city offered lies wrapped in neon. I won't be like her, she whispered to the night. She didn't hate her mother. She pitied her, and that pity burned more than hate ever could. Some daughters don't run away. They disappear slowly. She sat in the dirt, the way she did as a girl. Plates empty, house loud, head quiet. Someone whispered, "She's losing them." Another said, "She never had them." She didn't argue, didn't cry, just listened to her own breath. 35 lives spun around her, and none waited for permission. Love had never been the problem. Time was. And now, even time had walked away. They found him by a roadside, barefoot and shivering. He hadn't eaten in 2 days. He didn't even cry anymore. She held him like the world might break again if she let go. The officer said he just kept asking for home. She nodded, but her heart screamed. She hadn't even noticed he was gone until it was too late. Not because she didn't care, but because she couldn't keep up. And that broke her more than anything. He was always the quiet one, the easy one, until he stopped speaking altogether. No tantrums, no rebellion, just silence and shadows. One night, she found him outside, in the rain, in pain. "I can't breathe in this house," he said through sobs. She didn't know what to say. No mother prepares for this part. He wasn't angry at her, just tired of being unseen. And her silence told him she understood. She waited until the door was locked, then let go. Not tears, not prayers, just a scream she'd buried for years. It shook the pillow, the walls, maybe the soul itself. She had been strong for too long. Too many names, too many needs. Not enough her. The world saw a mother. She saw a prisoner. She screamed again, louder, rawer, truer. And then she wiped her face and opened the door. She sat in the back row, alone, watching. One of hers crossed the stage, cap too big, eyes full of fire. He searched the crowd and found her. She didn't wave, just nodded, slow and proud. She had fed him with coins, hope, and half prayers. Now he stood tall, 1 out of 35, but still hers. In that moment, the pain didn't vanish, but it softened, and her hands finally stopped shaking. Something changed, slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. They started helping, without instructions, without bribes. The older ones carried water. The younger ones shared space. She still worked, but now, she wasn't alone in it. It wasn't peace, but it was no longer war. For the first time, they saw her not just as a mother, but as a woman, and maybe as a human being. She didn't ask for thanks, but she heard it in silence. She sat beneath the tree where she once hid to cry. Now, There was laughter, not chaos. Joy, not noise. Not all stayed. Not all succeeded. Not all forgave her. But many did. And some even came back. She still didn't know if she did the right thing. She only knew she survived it. They called her a mother, a machine, a myth, but she was something harder to name and harder to forget.